There aren't quite as many animated television shows as beloved as Gravity Falls. The show dominated the early to mid 2010s as it gained a massive following. Fans latched onto the show's captivating mysteries and hilarious cast of characters. Most everyone recognizes the Weirdmageddon finale as being in a league of its own. But what exactly are the top 10 episodes of Gravity Falls? While everyone has their episodes they prefer, I attempted to rank the 10 best episodes from the 2 seasons of this remarkable franchise. Before I jump into the top 10, let's do some honorable mentions, shall we? Gideon Rises is the season 1 finale and makes for some of the season's most intense, grand moments. However, I'm not really much of a Gideon fan. I think that's a hot take, but oh well. Little Gift Shop of Horrors is an anthology type episode in season 2 that I prefer a little bit over the Bottomless Pit episode, mostly because of the unique stop motion segment. And lastly, I'm mentioning Weirdmageddon Part 1. While I think all the parts of the grand finale could be in the top 10, I'm putting this one here to make more room in the top 10 for others I think deserve a bit more of a shout out. And with that, let's jump right into the ranking with number 10.
What's up, Corny?
I've been traumatized.
Gravity Falls is one of the more notable, spooky, mysterious cartoons out there. So, it's no surprise that the Halloween-themed episode, Summerween, is one of the show's most iconic. While it can feel like a bit of a stretch to force an autumn holiday into a show set in the summer just because of the show's genre, I still love most everything about it. The Summerween Trickster is one of the more interesting and engaging monsters that comes from the world of Gravity Falls. Him being made up of loser candy is pretty dumb but also kind of fun, and he's also voiced by Jeff Bennett, so that's super cool. I'll definitely be watching this episode every time October 31st rolls around.
Tonight we will enjoy only the finest of tastes and only the snootiest of laughter.
Northwest Mansion Mystery is without a doubt a top 10 episode of Gravity Falls. This episode might just be considered the most mature and darkest episode that the show has to offer. It is also far and away the episode that expands upon and dives into the character of Pacifica and her family the most. This episode also features one of the show's most iconic monsters, but I believe it's his backstory that makes him stand out the most. The plotline of him cursing the Northwest family because they broke their promise of letting him into their parties is really cool, because it allows for Pacifica to grow as a character and eventually open the gates to the people. It's the whole let them eat cake trope, and it's done beautifully here. I also love Pacifica. They're unofficial, but they are adorbs.
Henry. I will take it.
No! Don't go, Big Henry! We need you!
I don't know what it is about the Gulf War that I love so much, but there's just something about it that I absolutely love. Should it be in the top 10? Maybe. Maybe not. It's here anyways. Now, I am a big putt-putt guy, so it's got my vote right off the bat. Seeing all the little sentient golf ball dudes as they argue over who's the best makes for such a fun time. This episode also has some of the best Pacifica moments, but the highlight for me was the extremely random and not asked for but very much appreciated John Henry reference. It was so weirdly drawn out, and it's a joke that no other show could really manage to pull off apart from Gravity Falls. It's random little episodes like this that I tend to look back on most fondly.
He said Mabel! Either that or doorbell. Did you say Mabel or doorbell?
If you're a big Waddles fan, you'll be happy to hear that I'm placing Time Traveler's Pig here at the number 7 spot. The episode having the carnival fair setting makes for a super fun time, and the episode introduces the character of Blendin Blandin, who's voiced by Roiland. Blendin adds a real fun dynamic to the show, as the whole time traveling shtick is such an enjoyable one. The best part of this episode, that isn't just Waddles as is the decision that Dipper has to make between him receiving the affection of Wendy or him sacrificing that to make his sister happy. I love watching Dipper reset the day over and over again like he's in a love-struck version of Groundhog's Day. Also, here's a quick Waddles montage just because.
Good luck sleeping tonight.
Into the Bunker is coming in at the 6th spot. It is one of the show's more simple yet popular episodes to date. The Fallout Shelter brings with it some of the show's coolest scenes, such as the escape room one, and any scenes with our shape-shifting monster. His character allows for some cool jokes and moments, like the Wendy vs. Wendy brawl and the creepy The Thing reference. Like, look at this thing, it's horrifying. Also, instead of rambling about this episode like a regular old Gravity Falls fan would, I want to bring up the hidden indie gem that is Keegan Carlisle's Return to the Bunker. It's a fan-made Gravity Falls episode in which our beloved characters return to the shelter, and it makes for such a great time. The episode is a full half-hour long, and the concept for the episode is actually of Disney quality. If you haven't seen this yet, hop over after this YouTube video to watch that one. You'll be in for a treat.
Oh, Gravity Falls, it is good to be back! Name's Bill Cipher.
Okay, the second half of the list here is where we really start to get into our heavy hitters. At number 5, I've got Dreamscapers. It is no surprise that entering the mind of one of our best and most funny characters makes for one of the show's strongest episodes to date. Like, the scene where Stan expresses his thoughts on Dipper and why he has as hard as he is, it's lovely. But what really makes this episode shine is the introduction to our favorite one-eyed Dorito, Bill. There aren't many TV show villains out there quite as zany and weird, yet simultaneously menacing and scary as Bill Cipher is. It's kinda ironic how Gideon summoned the very antagonist that would pretty much take that spot in the show moving forward. And honestly, good riddance. I'm sorry to all my little Gideon audience, but I'm sure you aren't watching anymore. But those of you who are, let's jump right to the number 4 spot, shall we?
After all these long years of waiting, you're actually here! Brother!
The classic flashback episode entitled A Tale of Two Stans is falling here right outside the podium. The episode is the follow-up to one of the best episodes from the show. That's actually going to be one of the top 3 spots on this list. But with this episode, it serves itself really well as a calm down, go back in time episode that dives deeper into our two Stan brothers. With the episode going into the two beloved characters at a different time in their lives, it allows the episode to be a real nice change of pace and breath of fresh air. It's one of the first and only episodes from the show to be featured mostly all outside the town of Gravity Falls. And it's also one of the episodes that finally answers so many of the questions that beloved fans of the show were pondering for years. And whenever we get scenes of the portal, it makes for peak Gravity Falls.
Look, things aren't gonna stay frozen this way. It's part of growing up. Things change. Summer ends.
Gravity Falls has its fair handful of sad moments, like when Stan loses the trust of his family, or when the twins drive off as the credits roll. However, I think the saddest moment comes in the 3rd place episode, Dipper and Mabel vs. the Future. Gravity Falls does a great job when it dives into the concept of family and growing up, and I think they are both highlighted best in the Season 2 episode. With Dipper wanting to stay and learn under Ford, and Mabel upset that the summer is coming to a close, it makes the actions that follow that much more tragic. You can't really blame Dipper for being inconsiderate, but you also can't really blame Mabel for being sentimental. As a fellow fraternal twin, this episode fills you with all the feels.
What's happening to me?
Could Weirdmageddon 3 Take Back the Falls be the number 1 episode? For sure. Should it be? I mean, probably. But we like to have fun around here, so I'm placing it at the number 2 spot. Call me crazy, but I actually think there's one superior episode. But that being said, this episode is still one of the most monumental episodes of animation ever. The apocalyptic setting is so cool and unique, and the battle between Bill and the Gravity Falls cast is epic. This episode has 3 of the best moments of the show in my eyes. 1 being the symbol at the end of every episode's theme song finally being revealed. 2, the bait and switch that Stan Bros used to defeat Bill. And of course 3, the dramatic perfect send-off that not only do Dipper and Mabel give us, but also the entire Gravity Falls crew as a whole. If you were a fan to watch this finale live, I am beyond jealous. It is near perfect television. But it ain't number 1 because coming in at the number 1 spot, you've got...
I trust you.
Not What He Seems. The episode that brought the entire journal arc to completion and featured one of the most massive twists of any show ever. Watching Stan get arrested and all the hijinks that ensue with that is a blast, but what really allows this episode to take the top spot is what comes with the episode's final act. Once Dipper finds an article that reads, "Stan Pine's dead," our collective minds have no idea what to think about this guy that we've come to know and love for 31 episodes now. So when the show culminates with the portal going crazy and Mabel being the one who has to shut it off, you are on the absolute edge of your seat. Like, imagine being in her shoes. Would you trust this guy who's supposedly your great uncle, but is wanted in many states and supposedly dead on record? Well, it's a good thing she did, because if she closed the portal, we never would have gotten J.K. Simmons onto this show. But what really sets this episode apart was its ability to become more than just the confines of the show. The whole conspiracy and mystery entered the real world and sparked so much conversation, interest, and really changed the way the entire industry of animation is run. There will truly never be anything quite like Gravity Falls. That being said, still watch the newer Disney Channel shows like Amphibia and The Owl House. They're both so amazing. But with that, that was my ranking of the 10 best episodes from this one-of-a-kind cartoon. I know there are a ton of Gravity Falls fans, and I know they have different opinions on which episodes are best, so let me know down in the comments all your thoughts. Thanks for watching, and be sure to like and subscribe for more cartoony content. I'll see you next time in the Cartoon Cabbage Patch.